Hello guys and gals, and welcome back to another episode of Haunted Gaming, where we look at a creepypasta once more, called Life Playing this time. So sit back and enjoy how this life happens to play out. Down my street there's a small bookshop called Outer Limitations, within walking distance. I go there every Thursday evening to see if I missed any nostalgic comics from the 90s, old Disney movie books, or X-Men action figures. Just for kicks, I browse a small selection of computer video games from the early 90s to the early 2000s, and notice a game that I've never heard of, Life Playing. The title itself carried no charisma or charm, but I pull it out and look at the booklet's cover on the CD anyways. Poorly done 3D, one character was on the cover and had giant lips and no eyelids or hair, just a plain red shirt. I bought it simply out of curiosity and because I needed a good story about a shitty game for the weekend to tell my cousin so we could make fun of it. The cashier never played the game, I could imagine why, and says it was sold to him free of charge by a mute glass-eyed weirdo that walked in a year back. Anyone who bought the game said it was so bad that they didn't want it in next or to their other video games. I'm assuming the clerk, Dave, just keeps it on his shelf, just to have an excuse to sell it to others as a prank, which I thought was funny. So, ready to put it back? Dave asked me. Nope, I gotta see this donkey shit before I give it back, I joked. The horror stories were too good, no going back now. I don't want to waste my laptop on this crud, so I used my older computer in the desk in my basement. The game's title screen started, giant capital letters appeared, Life Playing in the sickly green color. The mouse icon was green and a picture of a lone animated bald pale man appeared with a dope smile on his face. Badly animated movie lights flashed on the screen, suddenly at the bottom of the title screen and shine on the letters. It felt like an educational game some douche created without any real work put into it. That the people behind it just wanted an easy buck. Then only one option appeared. No continue, no new game, no settings or controls, just play. I clicked on that option and suddenly a large, low-tone pinging sound startled me. I forgot to turn the volume down on my computer from when I last used it, but even after I turned it down, the sound would stay at that level still. Weird. I guess no time really was put into it, or maybe my computer was just crapping out. Regardless, another option had come up, surrounded by nothing but pitch black. Are you sure you wish to proceed with life/p._AFV? What I didn't exactly get was, why would it ask me if I was sure I wanted to play the game that I bought with my own money? Fail. I can already tell this is gonna suck. Then the main character's head pops up. Go ahead and choose, it says with a smile, while sounding like he wants to shove my ass off my chair for being so slow. Well, I figured I would press the yes option. The main character's head then frowns, his eyes staying the same and then vanishing. The entire screen stays black for about 3 minutes. I jump in my seat, and it startled me with, "Wait! Don't leave!" As if I was walking away. But I wasn't. It sounded like a child's voice. The screen finally changes to a bedroom that's entirely white. One window, daytime, blue skies outside, and a bed with the main character inside. I could already tell that the game would be a boring piece of fuck, but still wanted to see why it's always made its way back to the owner of Outer Limitations. The character wakes up, looking hungover, and crawls out of bed with a scowl. Takes one look at me and says, "What do you want me to do this time, Aaron?" I have absolutely no clue how it knew my nickname. I always hated Anthony growing up, so I preferred Aaron from middle school to freshman year. But said nickname was actually rarely used. I didn't pay mind to it just yet. Then, an option sheet appears to the right-hand point of the screen, crudely crumpled up notebook paper, and asks me to circle one. Stay in bed, go get breakfast, and go outside. I pick the third option, and the character walks through his house to get to the front door. His house is completely white, looks like it was modeled in the 1980s, and has dead plants everywhere. I never read the booklet, so I wasn't sure what the story was, or if he's some careless loser. I grab the booklet and open it. Nothing inside but somebody's printed phone number. I choose to save that for later. The character finally walks outside and takes his dog, who had blank black eyes, black fur, and didn't bark, which I thought was strange for a dog in a video game, with him. The dog and the character then looks at me and another option sheet pops up. Play with dog, get mail, and get breakfast. I pick option 1, the character then throws a ball across the screen, the dog chases it and never returns. The guy, who I've dubbed do shit, walks over next to the mailbox and gets the mail. I don't have the option screen pop up and didn't understand why he was just doing things without my orders. He grabs the one piece of mail in the mailbox and opens it. A blank piece of paper pops up and presents the following words. Hey, how did you find this? You have been playing this longer than anyone. How sad. Regards. Well, it was in that exact format in bland text, After regards, the character that sent the mail never printed his name. Douchit walks back into the house and a small window pops up. Douchit needs to go back inside. I didn't say douchit, nor did I type it into anything anywhere at the time, but the CD somehow had picked up on it. I let him go back inside. The first thing he does is go for the fridge and finds nothing. He goes down in the flooded basement and swims over to this cabinet to find some soggy crackers that he starts to eat once he gets back upstairs. He then walks to the couch and sits down. His permanent frown appears to get more lifelike each minute. He simply stares at me for the entire duration of the time as he sits down, and then finally speaks. It sounds like the book manager's voice. But two people are speaking in unison with exactly the same tone. What do you want? An option screen pops up, with only one option. Nothing. I press that one and his eyes become yellow and the edges of his eyes become red, possibly trying to appear bloodshot. He then goes back to check his mail 3 times. Nothing. He then sighs and goes back into his bedroom. It's suddenly nighttime and he takes a nap, without getting it under the covers. Then, the screen just shows dead pixels and flash to morning. Douchit walks outside and checks the mail. The screen then makes a close-up to what's inside the mailbox, a realistic, rotting crow corpse with maggots crawling around it. The screen pans out to a crying douchit, who then walks further into the opposite side of the screen. The farther he goes, the music, which previously sounded like a corny 8-bit 1980s theme, then came to a chalkboard screeching halt. The character I cruelly named then walked further and further, until it became nighttime, and then stops at a cliff. He begins to cry. I bite my lip as I hope he doesn't do what I'm thinking. But he jumps, and as he jumps, a child screaming is heard, and no one of the jagged edges of the cliff. The dog's ball is shown with poorly animated blood, and the dead crow that the character found in his mailbox limps in the middle of the screen, maximized in size with pulsating wounds, and the following text comes up. He lost his life. Perhaps in death, Douchit will be saved by oblivion. Your treatment of the character was pointless as his fate was sealed, but now you will realize that your first choice will be one of regret. Thank you for playing Life After _V. Wait, my first choice? You mean when I was given the "Are you sure you want to play" bullshit, I didn't care anymore? I mean, I'm glad the game was over, but when the CD ejected, a scary chord was heard and the screen shut down, along with the computer case, which now smelled like it was wet and damp. The CD itself was fine. I put it back in the case and waited for the next morning, unable to sleep. I woke up to play Outer Limitations on Friday morning. The store was open, but I noticed something creepy on the side of the building. Douchit was etched into the brick wall. I walked in and saw Dave's roommate subbing for him. "So, how was it? Heard it sucked. I can't believe Dave talked you into it." I feel nervous to ask. How's Dave doing, by the way? Why isn't he here today? He's at home. His dog passed on, and he wanted to just sit on the couch and sulk, I guess. Don't blame him, really. I blinked. I'm actually going to hold on to this. Thanks anyways. I went back to my house, smashed the CD into pieces and burned it. Called the number on the guidebook before proceeding to burn that too, and all I got was a message repeating constantly in a monotone voice. Play the game again. I couldn't exactly do that now, considering I just demolished it, but I went down into my basement to see if I could turn the computer back on, see if it's changed at all since last night. The monitor wouldn't turn on. I reached down and unscrewed the bolts on the computer case, and a maggot crawled out into my hand. I reached my hand back and screamed as a black feather and some decayed flesh had started to ooze out. Okay, well, I don't think I'll be the first to say that. This reminds me of the Sega in a way, but it was almost on the edge of a shit pasta. Hell, I'd give it that title just on the name Douchit that was given. I know we all gave game characters, in any video game you play, some pretty off-the-wall names sometimes, but just throwing douchit in the game, or, in this creepypasta really with no context, I guess try to be funny, which I don't know why you would do in a scary story, but you could do it if it was right, but over here, no, it's not. But it plays in since the game does figure it out later on, start to refer to the character as douchit. Now, like the last episode where that creepypasta was good in my opinion, this one isn't really that great. I tried looking it up, this game that was mentioned in here, Life Playing, and it doesn't actually exist or anything, unless you count something like Second Life, which, we're not going to throw in here, but this one kind of had its rushed beginning where it just throws you in, no establishing or anything. Then we had the game being played with this phenomenon occurring, which is teetering on the fence of face-palming, but the ending, which was very nice with the phenomenon actually blending in with reality, almost I could say seamlessly, a la Hotline Miami, if you will. It was nice in that regard, but the first 2 sections felt almost unnecessary to me, and I just rewrite that to fit the whole tone better, and it just has this general lack of eeriness, which could be easily fixed, but that again may just be my opinion, because I did like that end, with everything coming full circle, and it wasn't just thrown in one after the other. It was a nice way to look at it, because it could have just, piled it on at the end. It could have just made the person just scared to play any games in the entire grand scheme of things. But over here, it doesn't. It takes what that phenomenon was and it blends it in properly. And I did like it. The phenomenon wasn't that bad now that I look at it in retrospect. But, like always, I do ask you, what would you rate it and what would you change to make it better? Please let me know in the comments below. This has been another episode of Haunted Gaming. If you liked what you saw, then like, comment, and subscribe. This is me, Mudahar, and I am out.